Farmers are making plans for the 2020 crop season, and after a disastrous 2019, they're cautiously optimistic. That was evident in the lack of early purchases at the Sioux Falls Farm Show. The attitude of farmers attending the Sioux Falls Farm Show was more positive this year, due in part to action on trade deals like USMCA and China.
It's pretty important that we, got phase one signed. It gives us some options going forward that hopefully can be fulfilled.
Yet farmers would normally have most of their crop plans done, and this year they're hesitant after a record 4 million plus acres of prevented plant in South Dakota in 2019.
There's probably more indecision on how many acres am I going to get planted, what crop am I going to put on my prevent plant acres, and the whole soybean thing in the $8 range just doesn't work for a lot of guys.
I would say there's a lot of producers that are just up in the air, especially on seed purchases. Maybe they'll buy 50%, maybe they won't do any, or they're concerned about the maturity and they don't want to have to switch groups, as they have in the past.
Farmers also have concerns about bringing prevented plant acres back into production with fallow syndrome and weed control issues.
Last year there was a lot of fields that producers just couldn't get into. They didn't get good weed control taken care of, and they're looking at this next year, how can I best handle that?
Weed control is going to be a big issue. We had a lot of weeds that got established out there, and some growers got in and worked the ground maybe too late, and we had a lot of weed seed that was built up for this next year.
Many agronomists suggest pre-emergence for PP acres, but with corn still in the field and saturated soils, that may be tough.
We've spent a tremendous amount of time putting weed control plans together for those prevent plant acres that got heavily seeded down with water hemp seed, mare's tail, and what have you.
And he says that will likely involve a two-pass post-emergent scheme. Acreage is still a question mark as well, with saturated soils and nearly 50% of the corn unharvested in North Dakota and 10% in South Dakota. So Mother Nature will have the final say.